All right, good morning, everybody. Super happy to see you guys. Y'all, we are in the last stretch. So I have a couple things I need to go over with you guys. First, let's start with my favorite, the pacing calendar. Okay, so if you guys will look at the pacing calendar with me, let me present that to you guys. You will see that today we are on April 22nd, and the annotated bibliography is due tomorrow. All right, so tomorrow by 9 o'clock. If you cannot make that deadline, you need to put in an extension request, okay? You need to request an extension from UT asking them to let you turn it in late. I am not doing a blanket extension because I want us to finish this course. I don't want to delay anything else. So I'm just sticking with the 23rd as our due date. But if you need more time, if you've had some issues, if you fill out an extension request, hopefully they grant it and you can have one. Okay, but you're going to have to do that on your own. Okay, so we have one piece left for this paper, and it is the headnote. You have written 6, or you should have written 6 entries, 6 like mini essays for each piece of research that you've done. At the top of the paper, we're going to do what's called a headnote. This is where you tell your professor or your grader, depending on your purpose for writing this, what the controversy is that you've studied, what you've learned as you studied it, what you still need to go out and research, what you realize you're missing, and what you think you're going to, like your argument is going to be and where you think you're going to publish it. So it's kind of like a mini paper proposal, all right? So let's take a look in Google Classroom at, I've got the headnote and the example right here. So let's go into this assignment. You guys can go into this with me. Yes, the headnote is first person. I would stay away from first person in the annotated bibliography, except for that last paragraph where you discuss how you're going to use this in your own writing, in your own paper. Okay, so in the annotated bibliography for the headnote and example, let's look at the example first, okay? This is the example that OnRamps provided to you guys. It's in Canvas, and this is an example of an annotated bibliography. Now, it's not on a controversial issue regarding gender or race, okay? But this is what an annotated bibliography looks like. Notice that it has the heading and the page number. It's double-spaced, Times New Roman, 12-point font. It's got 2 paragraphs, and then it moves right into the entries. Notice the entries have that typical works cited citation. It's called a hanging indent, where it comes out a little bit further on the left. And then the mini essay is aligned with that hanging or that actual indent, right? So all of these are tabbed in or indented one space. And these are your mini essays. Notice also that these are in alphabetical order. We have Aldridge, and then we have Cheney, and then we have Cooley, and then we have Dan, and then we have Maddox, Quincy High School, Taylor, and Wilson, okay? So yours need to be in alphabetical order just like that. Okay, any questions so far about what this final product is going to look like? If you've been with me, then you're doing this and you should know this. Okay, it is not an essay, Lanaya. This is what's called an annotated bibliography. It is preparing us to write the essay. So it should look exactly like this. It's going to have a headnote that discusses what it is you've been studying, and then bam, here's the source I used, here's what I found. Next, here's the source I used, here's what I found. Next, here's the source I used, here's what I found. And the stuff that you find in it is pretty, they sent some rubrics that are asking for things pretty specifically. Where was it published? Who's the audience? What's the main claim? How is it supported? How are you going to use this in your essay? So those things have to be addressed in each of these mini paragraphs. If you look at the template that I provided, it's in the stream, I posted it on April 7th, that template addresses everything you are asked to address, okay? So if you follow that template, you'll end up with what you need to end up with. Okay, here's the head note, and this is where you're going to get your flow from, Lanaya. I think this will make it a little bit easier, okay? We're going to read this. You can pull it up on your screen yourself, in the example, or you can just listen as I read. But listen to what this first paragraph discusses. In the blurry lens of popular history, it seems like the only people opposing the integration of U.S. schools in the 1960s would have been the poor, racist whites. However, a deeper investigation into the historic attitudes of Americans in the 1960s reveals that Black and white communities had in common that they were divided internally amongst themselves on the issue. In some places, Blacks and whites with similar interests even cooperated. Journal articles by current historians and scholars like Derek Aldridge and Therese Cheney reveal that Black leaders made arguments in favor of voluntary separation for Black schools to maintain their high quality and their position as centers for community values. Meanwhile, white advocates rose to the call for equal education from unlikely places like the students and faculty of the mostly white Quincy High School. Research by Dion Dans into the rhetoric of racism reveals that there were subtle ways that some seemingly moderate white groups expressed their racism and segregationalism covertly. Dan's research seems supported by letters from prominent Democrats like Harold Cooley and Maddox accusing President Johnson of overstepping constitutional boundaries in his fight for integration. As far apart as Black and white communities seemed, racial cooperation and integration could be found in professional circles, as exemplified by the advocacy work of Wilson Wade, the first Black president of the mostly white Pennsylvania State Education Agency, or William Tyler, a white lawyer who worked with the NAACP. Thus, we find the picture of 1960s attitudes on integrations to contain many more subtle shades of gray than Black versus white sketch of popular mythology would have us believe. Okay. So just looking at that paragraph, did you see how she named every single source that's in the annotated bibliography? Did you see what she did with them? She didn't just list what they did. She synthesized them. She combined them, right? We have Aldridge and Cheney saying this thing. We have it aligning with Quincy High School. And then that's countered with this research from Dance, right? So you have every source in here and it's synthesized. That's the first paragraph. So she discusses the topic, what she learned, what the research shows her, and she integrates it. I learned this thing from these sources. I learned this other thing from these sources. Okay, let's look at the next paragraph. I learned while doing research that there were even more groups with divided opinions, like Native Americans and Mexican Americans, which made me question how the government uses categories like race and ethnicity. I chose the sources listed below to lay the foundation for my final project, which will go deeper into the rhetoric and arguments of Black leaders who are in favor of voluntary educational segregation. To do this, I will need to do an additional research step by reading W.E.B. Du Bois on the education of Black folk, and maybe find one other source from a Black leader in the time period. My paper will analyze the values underlying the arguments made by these leaders for separate Black schools. I would like to explore how these values reflected the America they lived in, and then to help me think about how things are different or the same today. So in this paragraph, she talks about some stuff that she didn't know. What did I learn in doing this research project? She also talks about what else she needs to do to make her essay successful. What else does she need to research or read? And finally, she states what her paper's topic is going to be about. This is what I want to say. All right, I'm going to analyze the values of the underlying arguments made by leaders who want separate Black schools. Okay, and then that's it. After that, she moves into the actual sources. Here's Aldridge. Here's a brief summary of the source, including the audience, the venue, the kairos, the claim, the support, and how it'll be used in the paper. Then Cheney, then Cooley, then Dance, okay? So this is your example document. I have it right for you in this, but you need a 2-paragraph head note. So let's look at that head note space. I put some things here that I think might help you. The Headnote synthesizes your findings for the paper. It should be 250 to 300 words, and it should discuss the controversy. It should discuss the research you've done thus far and how that research works together. It should discuss what you learned that you didn't know before, what you have left to research. It should state your argument and discuss the audience you anticipate writing to. So discuss the controversy and what you learned from the sources, and synthesize the information in paragraph 1. Paragraph 2, what did you learn that you didn't know before? What do you need to find out more about? What is your paper going to discuss, and where do you think you're going to publish? Okay, who do you think you're going to be talking to? And I'll tell you that they want that to be a hostile audience. Okay, somebody who doesn't agree with you. Okay, does anybody have any questions for me? Okay, this is the last thing that you have to do. Okay, Lynette, I'll show you how to do that. This is the last thing that you have to do. And when you do that, you're going to give it to me, okay? And then I'm going to edit it. I will tell you it is taking me about an hour for every one of these that I have to edit, okay? So just keep that in mind. You cannot hand it to me at 8 o'clock on Friday and think I'm going to get this edited in time for you to make your 9 o'clock deadline. It's not realistic. It's not going to happen. Okay. So the sooner you get it to me, the sooner I can get it back to you. I've had 3 students in all my classes give it to me so far, and I have done 2 of those, and I'm doing the 3rd one right now. So the sooner you get it to me, the sooner I can read over it. And I'm finding stuff like maybe you used a source that's not going to work, right? It'll be your choice whether you keep the source and turn it in and just take the hit on the points, or you try and find a new source to get the most points, okay? All right, before I show you how to do the extension, I have one more thing I need to tell you guys, and that is UT is going to give you guys extra credit this semester. There is a quiz you can take. As soon as we turn in the annotated bibliography, you can take the quiz, and then that window is open until they return the annotated bibliography, okay? So I will show you how to do the quiz. I'll put a link to it, but I'll probably won't do that until Friday when the annotated bibliography is due, okay? So you would maybe see it Monday in class, but we've got a window to take it. I strongly encourage you guys to take this quiz. It is extra points on your grade, and you guys you're doing great, but you want to get every single point you can. Okay. All right. So for Lanaya, let's go to OnRamps. Okay. Okay, for Lanaya and anybody else, for any student who's wanting an extension. Okay. You will go into the college course. Okay. So I don't have the college course. I only have the high school course. You're going to have to envision this with me, okay? So I'm going to go into my course. You need to go into the college one. And on the side, you've got this blue menu. And one of these is extension requests. So if you click this, it should pull up for you guys a sheet, a smart sheet. Maybe you could do this from the high school course too. I don't know, but it's definitely in the college course. You fill it out, your name, your email address, UTE ID, who's your instructor, who's your grader if you know. You'll be requesting it for the annotated bibliography essay. And then you want to tell us what type of extension request you're getting. Did something happen medically? Are you having a technology issue? Is it a grief extension? Is there something else going on? And you need to let them know and turn it in, and they should get back to you pretty quickly. You might say something like, it's due Friday and I, cannot make that, but I could get it to you on Sunday. They're not going to give you a week extension, but they might give you a couple days, and it wouldn't affect the grading too much, I think, if you turned it in over the weekend. But you can ask them, and they might talk with you a little bit about what's reasonable. But it's on this blue menu, and it is called extension requests. So you click that, and it pulls up the sheet that you fill out, and you turn it in. Okay. All right, who else needs what from me? Okay, you guys are doing the work. It is hard work. I know it is hard work. I do. We are almost done. In less than a month, we are done with this class. Less than a month, okay? We have to just turn this in on Friday, and then we have the next essay to do. But guess what? You've already done the research for it. That's what this annotated bibliography is. It's the research. So you're ahead of the game, okay? You can do this. I know you can do this. I am here to help you. I am going to put myself on mute and get back to editing. But if you need me at all, you unmute yourself. You send me a remind. You type in this chat because I'm going to be in this class all period. You with me? Okay. All right. Then happy writing, my darlings.